it makes more financial sense to be there because NAWEC is providing electricity for everyone.
Felix Cisse, a frequent buyer of cash power, was so thrilled by the NAWEC Trust Bank partnership.
For the past week or two, it has been very easy with me. I just call into the cashier, give the meter number and whatever. They give me this thing, I just put a phone call, give them the number, and the meter is off and running.
This could be the beginning of a new step for cash power users. And as for those people working for long hours, it could be an end to the long queues they must join before acquiring the cash power. For Grts News, I am Fatou Kamarakebe.
Cabinet ministers on Sunday returned to their Jalamba Findi farm to harvest the crop. The senior officials were assisted by residents of Jalamba. As Bajansar reports, the farm was cultivated 3 months ago as part of the country's food self-sufficiency drive.
Members of the executive arm of government working on one of their farms cultivated this year. The 2.8-hectare Findi farm is one of the 2 farms cultivated by cabinet ministers in their bid to contribute towards the realization of the country's food self-sufficiency drive. Cultivated barely 3 months ago, the ministers descended on the Findi farm located in Jalamba village, supported by the locals in the harvesting process. This is the outcome of Cabinet's commitment and villagers' solidarity to responding to the President's Back to the Land call, which places emphasis on growing what we eat and eating what we grow.
With the work of the villagers and the amount of Findi that we will harvest and the corn also. I think this is a great idea coming from His Excellency, the President of the Republic, Sheikh Professor Dr. Al-Haji AJJ Jame, who is urging us to go back to the land. And I think his call to go back to the land has also a philosophical dimension. I always try to read between the lines and try to understand what is beyond the message. I mean, people feeding themselves through what they are producing can only be something laudable and reduce our dependency towards others. And I think that's a great idea. And the fact of engaging yourself constantly into farming.
The Minister for Trade, Regional Integration and Employment is among the pioneers of the cabinet farms.
You know, His Excellency the President has been calling us to go back to the land to grow what we eat and also to eat what we grow. And I think this is a good example for Cabinet to come out in, as a group. Although individually most of us have our own farms, but this year we decided to come out to show solidarity and to show to the people that what the President is calling for is for everybody, not only the people that live as farmers, but everybody can be a farmer. And if we all grow, however small our small portions are, it will reduce our food import bill, and it will reduce our dependence on the external world. Because if you grow maize like this, maize can be used for so many things, chere and any other things. Now that we also have a plant that can process maize into animal feed and other products, I think it's a good example for us to come out as a cabinet to grow this 3.6-hectare maize farm, which will go a long way in our anti-poverty and anti-hunger crusade.
Minister Koli commended the villagers for their support, saying the Back to the Land call is not politically motivated but development-oriented.
I don't think it's a political initiative. Someone who calls you to go out and grow what you're going to eat, he's not saying go and grow and give it to him. Even when you grow and give it to him, at the end of the day, it comes back to you, because whatever goes to the President as part of his farming activities, whatever he generates on his own and whatever people contribute to that, comes back either in the form of scholarships, in the form of other support to needy Gambians. So it should not be seen as a political crusade. It's not a political thing. Go and farm. He's saying go and farm for yourself, not farm and give it to him. If you farm and give it to him, fine. It will come back to you in the form of scholarship to your children, your grandchildren, your brothers and sisters.
For his part, the Alkali of Jalamba, Lamin Jatta, commended his people for always coming out in full force whenever they are called. He also assured the cabinet ministers of their unwavering support in all their development activities. Alaji Nyasi is the farm manager. He expressed delight at the success of not only the Findi farm, but the maize field as well, which is yet to be harvested. He commended the ministers for giving him and his people all the necessary support in making the farm what it is. Aissatou Badiane Sarr, GRTS.
And back to our top story, where the President, His Excellency Sheikh Professor Alhaji Dr. Yahya Jammeh, today summoned the board and management of the National Water and Electricity Company NAWEC to a meeting at State House to address the current energy problem being encountered in the country. Wednesday's meeting comes hard on the heels of another convened recently on its directives by the Secretary General and Head of the Civil Service. Abdul Njai picks up the rest of that story.
In the explanation for the current power outage being experienced in the country, but the attempt was dismal since the report the officials presented was deemed too flimsy and ambiguous to be accepted.
When I got the report that you submitted, I decided that it is high time that we sit face to face and talk. Whatever I'm going to say here is based on what I read from your report. In your attempt to explain why we are faced with this current problem, you've also, maybe inadvertently, showed a lot of things that are tantamount to either a lack of proper coordination, lack of planned maintenance, or altogether gross neglect or negligence of what you are supposed to do. Now, one part of the report made me annoyed, and I will tell you. Where one, you are saying, one part of the report said that the parts are on, parts are available, and you are trying to fix the problem as soon as possible, within the shortest possible time. And then towards the end of the report, you stated that, well, you have placed orders for the parts and you are waiting for the parts. Now, the confusion here is which parts are already on the ground and which parts you are waiting on. You see, you have one major power station and one substation, that is Brikama. And how would the average layman like me understand us just going to this problem barely 3 weeks after inaugurating what you claim to be a brand new generator?
The president has to cut his leave short to attend to the problem, suggesting the magnitude of the damage is just too overwhelming and beyond the control of NAWEC.
I didn't expect that things would be this bad, where you are on maintenance, and then Brikama also is on maintenance at the same time. Unless it was an emergency situation beyond your control. If it was just routine maintenance for both go-to and Brikama, this shows a serious lack of coordination. Because you should know that if you put 12 megawatts out of the system now, you're going to create serious problems. And if you put, at any moment, if you schedule 2 generators to be on maintenance, to be shut down at the same time, for the same period for maintenance, you are also asking for trouble because you will not be able to satisfy the demand. So either this was deliberately done to piss the people off, or because I could not get a genuine reason from your report.
The shortcomings are seen as artificial on the basis of lack of routine maintenance, which could be very expensive for such a social sector. Electricity being a strong determinant for investment and economic growth, it is not surprising that government is attaching a certificate of urgency to the problem. But it is not coming without a warning. For the ultimatum as stated by the president, and in fact citing himself as an example, is that when one lost the interest of the Gambian people, the best option is to step down.
I believe in one thing, that if somebody is dedicated, then you will understand what is a mistake and what is deliberate. I think